everyone, I'm Soraya. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to continue painting with a sponge. I don't use the rough part, just the soft yellowish part here of the sponge itself. I'm enjoying doing these kinds of paintings, and this time my idea is to have it kind of going from light to very dark and dramatic, and I love that contrast. So let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm starting off with a dry canvas, nothing on it, and a sponge that I've used previously, dry as well, nothing on it. Now I have this other one that I used too, but unfortunately the paint dried, and if you could see, there is, it causes a bit of texture because of that dried paint, and I don't want that, so I'm gonna use this one. So I'm starting off with Artist Loft Titanium White and Light Blue. So I'm starting off kind of light here. I added some white to that, to the light blue, mixing it together. And just going in circular motions. You can see the suggestion of clouds, but on this side it's going to be different. Just adding a little bit more white. And kind of washing the canvas with it. Going back in with just the light blue and going back over this a little bit more contrast. Okay, that's a good start. Now using the same sponge, I just added this Pebeo Studio Payne's Gray. And I'm gonna start with the dark. I'm gonna work over there to get it feathered in a little bit. Is feathered the right word? I don't know. Just blended is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I like that as well. There's a definite line there, but that's okay. Very light touch here. Very light. I'm gonna go back in, same sponge with white, and just kind of blend those two together. And then back into my light blue and back over this just a little bit. I'm going to use the opposite end and just put a bit of white on it and then go back over here again. That's a bit too much paint, but that's okay. We'll work with that. I'm liking this ridges that I see here. And I'm flattening the sponge using the color that's there. Now I'm going to continue with the
Payne's gray on this side, make it really dark. Okay, now because of the white, it's a little bit too light over there. I'm going to switch out to a brand new sponge, dry, nothing on it. I always use the sponge, the yellow part, never this green rough part, okay? Don't want to do that. I just want to use the yellow part. Someone asked me about that, and I only use the yellow part. Now I'm going to do something very different. I'm going to add burnt sienna along with some prism violet and the Payne's gray. So here's the colors. There's a bit much there, but there's a lot to cover here. Woo! Lots of that burnt sienna. I think I added too much paint. I always start off slowly, and that's a mistake. So I'm going to take some off. Just some paper towel. Just take some of that off. It's just too much. All right. I see the potential of having something nice. I'm going to go back in with the Payne's gray to get rid of some of that and just make it really moody. That's a bit scary when that happens, right? That's okay, it's just paint. I just added a bit too much color. We'll fix it. That's really cool. Now I may have lost some of you, but stick with me. I'm going back to my old sponge and going in with the light blue and the Payne's gray. Don't forget to change directions. I'm going to keep adding the Payne's gray here. Kind of trying to undo what I just did a little bit. But I like what I see here now. Kind of like an ombre effect of going light into dark, which I really like. I like always contrast. I'm just trying to soften up those edges. See if you let it just kind of go. Very lightly, just the edge. That's all it is. Take your time, enjoy the process. You can always go over. I always say that it's just paint. Every time you paint, you learn something new. So this is what it's looking like so far. And I think that's a good start. I'm gonna go back in here, a little bit more white, looking a bit scruffy here. Okay, now I kind of have to decide what I'm going to do along here. I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to bring some of this color down this way. I don't know. Let's see. So I've mixed up on my sponge. You can't see, but there is the burnt sienna, the purple, and the Payne's gray on that same brush I used initially for that. So I'm gonna just take this one down here and get it really dark. I'm going to bring this down and have more of a horizon line of some kind. I'm not sure. Just about there, I think. Okay. This is a good one here. Kind of about there. Can always fix it, change it. Go back with some more white and bring this down. I like some of this white going into here, which is kind of cool. And I like this one here. Kind of colliding. I'm just being flat. I'm using the brush very flat on the canvas. I'm going to bring some of this blue down here. Just a little bit. I like having a nice balance of colors. Now, as you're painting, let your imagination go. You may think oftentimes, like me, I start off with a certain idea or direction, and it goes differently as you're painting for whatever reason. It just changes. So don't worry about it. Just try and see where this is leading you. And if you don't like it, you can paint over it. That should be my motto. You can just paint over it. Really, it is. Let's just see what happens, right? That's what it is. Let's see what happens. Give yourself permission to just paint. See where it goes. See what happens. I'm mixing up the Payne's gray with the burnt sienna. And I love the color variations that you get. I'm going to try and balance out what's up on the right hand side with dark. Just dark, just being dark on this side here. And lots of Payne's gray, mixing up those three colors. But mostly the purple and the Payne's gray. Not too much of the burnt sienna. But I do like that color. Now, this has definitely become the focal point. So I'm trying to get the colors kind of pointing up towards that. So far, I haven't added any water. The paint is straight out of the tube, the colors that I showed you. And I'm just working with the composition. I'm switching back and forth between colors. I'm not cleaning the sponge. The sponge is always the same. I'm alternating between these two brushes. Actually, I have three This one that I started off with, the one that I added the burnt sienna and kind of the white one. And I'm alternating between all of these. No cleaning, just kind of going in between, back and forth, not in between. Okay. I'm gonna add the smallest amount. You see, it barely touched it, barely, of water. Just to smooth things out a little bit, and you see that? It just changes the whole thing, smoothing it out. So I'm gonna keep doing that, the smallest amounts at a time. Barely touching the water. I'm going to continue adding a bit more white here. I mix this up with just a little bit of the Payne's gray. Decided to get rid of this. It's not working for me. Even though I really like it, it's not working for the composition. Still haven't really found a direction that I really like. So I'm going to keep working with it. Sometimes you have to make those hard decisions that even though you like something, you could try and work with it, but for the sake of the composition, you have to change it up. So that's what I'm doing here. Trying to have this focus here, the focal point here. I don't like this going up. It's swooping up right now, and I don't want that. So you have to step back and you have to look, where's your painting going? I don't sketch it out as you saw. It's just working with what, just my imagination. And so sometimes it goes the way you want it, or not the way you want it, but or the way you're thinking that it's going to go. And other times it just doesn't work. So you have to change it up, make it better. Make the composition. Think about the overall painting. I know it doesn't seem like much, but we'll get there. We'll get there. It does take me many hours, and I cut out times where it's just kind of the same old boring, lots of detail kind of work. But I tell you everything that I'm doing. Now, I think I have said it before in the past, I do change things up when I take things in a different direction, and that's why you see that there's sometimes a little bit of white. Now I'm going back over that white with other colors. It's because of the composition. I'm trying to work with the composition to get a really beautiful one that works for me. So to create the lines, you can see that I'm really squeezing the sponge and then pressing down, and you get these lines. Okay, I was talking away and I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So I had to clean my brushes, and because they were getting way too messy. So it's a little bit damp. but I'm trying to be as loose as possible here. I found that I was getting a little bit too precise. You don't want that. I don't want that. I want it to be loose. So I'm kind of letting the sponge do its thing. And so far I haven't used any brushes at all. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of the burnt sienna and the purple and the Payne's gray, just a tiny bit. And I think I'm gonna just add something here, like a suggestion of a rock or something, I don't know. Something interesting. And then I'm gonna go back with the other sponge and I'm gonna keep adding the paint, the light blue and white. Okay, as I step back, I'm not sure about this area here. I think I might just add, no, maybe I'll add a little something there as well. That didn't work out. I'm gonna wipe that off. I don't know. I kind of like that. I think it kind of looks like it could be a rock or something. I don't know. So when I step back, this kind of looks like just a long line here. And I don't really like it. And I'm wondering, I'm trying not to use a brush because the whole time I haven't. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna wreck it by doing this. Oh boy. Okay, I think that's better than it was. Because this part of this painting is light, I'm gonna add more white here. Just trying to follow what's already here. I think I'm gonna go back and darken up this area just a little bit. Decided to take out this brush. It's just a one you can get from the hardware store. It's not an artist brush or anything. Just to, and you see I'm pressing down, get some interesting patterns and things on here. I'm not liking the way this is looking. I added just a tiny bit of water there. You get all these, you see how easy that becomes? And As much as I love to work with the sponge, you need a brush to be able to get these lines that give you the idea that it is water. So much better and easier. Kind of let the brush go wherever it's going to go. That looks so much better. And that didn't take very long at all. I'm going to continue on with this light blue here. I decided I'm going to add some turquoise green, Amsterdam turquoise green. I'm going to add it along here. Anywhere there's a little bit of light blue makes it more interesting. So I'm going to purposely put on a lot here. Oops, sorry. I'm going to purposely put a lot here, kind of a big splotch, and then a damp paper towel. I'm just kind of, you see, it leaves a little bit of it there, and I like that. I'm finding that this area is kind of flat. This has nice depth with the kind of clouds, so I'm going to bring out some of these with a little bit more. I'm not sure if this is going to work. And mix in a little bit of white, and that's better. That's much better. So I'm just adding a little bit of white and a little bit of the prism purple. And just picking out lines. You see the difference there? So I'm going to just keep working on that. I'm going to try and bring some of this into here. I might regret it, but just kind of a suggestion that there's this continuation of this kind of purplish color here. I didn't put anything on the sponge. It's the same one that I used for that I just did. And I think that brings the painting together a little bit more. I'm going to add some Liquitex Basics Cadmium Yellow Deep Hue. I think it needs something more here. And I'm just going to use this little brush. That's the brush. Little bit of paint. Let's see, start off small like I always do. Get a feel for it. I mixed up some red and white, got some pink. I'm just going to add a tiny bit. Don't normally use it, but I like it with purple. And just touches of it here and there. This was looking a bit too raggedy for me, so just using the brush very lightly. I'm going to add some more light blue down here. It's not bad down here, but a little raggedy looking again. I like to clean it up, smooth it out. I added a little tiny bit of water here. Okay, so here is a recap of all the colors that I used. I showed them to you in the video. If you want to pause and take note, this is the red that I mixed with white to get the pink, and the Payne's gray, the burnt sienna, and the light blue, my sponges. Okay, so here it is all done. I did add just a little bit of detail here and there. And under the lights, this looks a little bit lighter, but really it's dark up here. And I love that contrast between that lighter going into dark. And it changes, this painting changed along the way. That's what happens. Sometimes you think, as you're painting, maybe I should stop, and you add something and it changes again. So I'm happy with the way it looks now. Let me know in the comments what you think, and click on the link you see now to see more of my sponge paintings.